Right, welcome to the restaurant. Hope everything is to your satisfaction. This is your set 3-course menu. So to start with, nachos and cheese, fresh cheddar, selection of tantalising dips. For the main, quintessential classic British fish and chips, we have a fresh cod loin, homemade chips, garden peas on the side, accompanied by a lemon mayonnaise sauce. And then to finish, we have 3 scoops of vanilla ice cream. Okay, and you will get a complimentary can of Copperberg cider. I'm going to serve you the mixed fruits. Right, let's get started with the starter. It's a popular classic choice in our British pubs. Of course, it is nachos and cheese, so we have some plain nachos here. Now I like to take it up a notch. I like to add a little bit of paprika, and so far none of the customers have complained. Just a little bit of paprika. Now at the end, if you're feeling really brave, you can even add some sliced coriander. But we will stick with the cheese and then some dips on the side. So I like to use cheddar, of course. You could use cheddar, red Leicester, mozzarella, or combination. When grating, if you go slow and meaningful, you get thicker shreds of cheese. And there's a couple of rules of thumb we follow when making nachos, which I will reveal to you shortly. Right. Okay, paprika first, then we sprinkle our cheddar. Bring this here for you. There she goes. Try and spread it as evenly as possible. Get it on all the top surface nachos. Customers don't like naked nachos. And the first rule of thumb, or should we say second, is to melt the cheese. Do not pop this in the microwave, because you want our nachos to come out with a certain level of crisp to them rather than soft. That means we pop it in the grill. So let's do that now. Right, that's how we want the cheese looking. And just a slight toasted appearance to the nachos. None of them are burnt. We can now move on to our dips. And your final rule of thumb, do not add the dips onto the nachos because you are assuming that the people who have ordered the nachos like all the dips. That is not the case a lot of the time. So, dips separately. We have a large ramekin here. You can use individual ones as well. We have guacamole. And another common one is salsa. But personally, I don't like salsa, so I don't want it covering my nachos. There we go, there's our classic British pub grub starter, nachos and cheese. We're now moving on to the main event, of course, pub grub classic main, probably the most popular, fish and chips. So we have some Maris Piper spuds, which I'll peel and slice up. I'll then season the chips, get them into the preheated oven and then move on to the fish. So chips first, please. Peeling incoming. Yes, I have an unusual technique, but it does work nicely. I have too many here for two, but it's better than not enough. This particular job is not everybody's cup of tea. I know at chip shops they have those special machines that peel the spuds. Essentially they just spin around against the rough edges and they come out nicely peeled, or should we say bare. If you see any nasty parts when it's still a little bit green, get rid. There we go, it's the tedious job done. Quite a sharp knife. I don't usually make my own chippies, This is going to be interesting. Just slice them up however you see fit. There's our seasoning bowl there. Get those in. It's probably going to come out as chunky chips. That's the beauty of homemade food. It's always different to how it comes at a proper pub. Some longer ones here. The oven is almost preheated to 210 degrees Celsius. I know you can get those slicing devices for your chippies, but I'll keep it old school here. Right, there, lovely. We're on the home stretch. And there we go, right. Seasoning time, so like a little bit of salt. A little bit of pepper. So peppercorns here. Some olive oil. And some fresh rosemary here, literally from the garden. Just left that soaking in some apple cider vinegar and water. So rosemary's dead easy, essentially, once it's clean. Fingers down the stem, like so. One of my favourite herbs, along with coriander and thyme. And then just roughly slice. Of course you don't have to add rosemary to your chippies, but I like that rustic country feel type pub grub. There we go, that should do us. Get that into your mix there. That should do us. I'm going to oil the tray as well. just a little, to try and reduce the chances of the chips sticking to the foil. There we go, and chippies onto the tray. So spread the oil. Right, spread those out. Probably have to turn them halfway through cooking. Straight into your preheated oven. Right, and that's it. Cooking is all about timing, so about 5 minutes or so before the chips are done, we shall do our fish. Right, the chips are almost done. Let's move on to the batter mix. In fact, I've turned the oven off and they'll just go golden brown for me. So for the batter mix, we have half a cup of water, half a cup of milk, there or thereabouts. We shall add, this time, table salt, a teaspoon. Quarter of a teaspoon of baking powder, so not much at all. And then the final ingredients is 1 cup of plain flour. If your cup doesn't fit, you can improvise and maybe cause some spillages in the process. Note to self, slow down a little. There we go, that should do us, I think. Right, into the mixture. Let's get this out the way. Chips look and smell good. Right. One of the better jobs here is your batter mixture. In fact, I might add a little bit more milk and water to this, just to thin it down a touch. Just shy there. That's a better consistency. lovely. Right, let's heat some vegetable oil up in the pan. Right, want enough to submerge the fish. Speaking of which, 2 lovely cod loins here. So, handle with care, fish is delicate. Just wait for that there. There we go, get that into your mixture. And then the fun part is going to be placing this into the hot oil using just our hands. Just give that a moment there. Look at our oil. The oil is pretty much high heat, just 1 or 2 notches from maximum. So medium high. Give that a moment, check on the chippies. I think they've come out really well. Right, here goes nothing. Right, we have some nice chunky cod loins, delicately battered. Not as much batter as the chip shop. These are more fleshy and possibly delicious. Right, I'll give those just a little moment there, just to rest. Let's tend to the chippies. That minimal stick, because we greased our pan. And sorry about the mess, I'm a messy boy sometimes. Right, chippies. Cod piece. There we go, lovely. And the traditional sauce would be tartar. Don't have any tartar, but I'm going to make some. Lemon mayonnaise. Do not serve seeds in the sauce. And one more thing. We have peas. You can have mushy, you can have garden. Personally, I like a garden. Peas and dippy. And there is the homemade traditional pub Grub Classic fish and chips. Right, because you've been good and eaten all your dinner, I'm going to let you have some fun. You can have some vanilla ice cream. Straight from the freezer. There's one scoopy. Try not to shortchange you. 2 scoops. And 3 scoops there. There you go. There is your pudding.